Hi, happy Friday. I hope everybody's doing great. This is our Friday Facebook Live where I talk about something you can do to help your child get the education that they deserve and need while trying to help you not go crazy. We try to keep this under 10 minutes because I know that you have things to do and places to be. And today we're talking all about routines. So if your child is still doing virtual learning, let me know in the comments. Or maybe you're doing hybrid learning. Maybe you have an asynchronous day in the middle of the week for cleaning. I know that schools are going back to normal, but things don't look exactly the way that they did before the pandemic. So you're having to manage that at home. And routines can really help kids learn at home without so much of the stress. And so we're going to talk about that today and how you can implement a routine without going crazy. Because I know a lot of you right now are listening to this and thinking, routine, my kids fight back with me every time I try to implement a routine. So stay tuned. If you know somebody that you think would enjoy this video, please share it out with them. And let me know what you think about the things we talk about in the comments. Okay, first point. Kids thrive on routine. So it may not seem like it depending on how your child reacts when you try to implement a routine. But kids thrive on routine because they need to know what's going to happen. So putting those boundaries on kids is actually something that we need to do to keep them from kind of spiraling out of control. So kids do really well at school because there's always a routine involved. They know what's going to happen every day. They know when specials is going to be. They know when lunch is going to be. They know when they're going to get to go home. They know when their subjects are going to be. And from the experience of somebody who's been in the classroom, when that routine gets bucked for whatever reason, like there's an assembly or something like that, it's wild because they get off their routine and they really love that routine and the kids go crazy. So if you can implement a routine, it can help your child learn more and quicker because they know what's coming. They're spending less time thinking about what might be coming next or what they want to do next because they know, okay, we're going to wake up, I'm going to do my math work, and then I'm going to get to have a snack. Instead of thinking like, I wonder when the next time I'm going to get to eat is. So my next point is routines don't have to be rigid. So if your child kind of bucks against that idea of a routine, maybe they're bucking against the idea of a rigid routine of like at 8 a.m. we're going to get out of bed and then we're going to eat breakfast at 8:30 and then by 9 you need to be in your seat so that you can do your work. I know that that's the way that it works at school, but it might not work that well for all kids, especially when they're at home. So if your child doesn't do well with the rigid routine, some kids do, some kids need that. Maybe do a loose routine. So like we're gonna do it in this order. Like first we're gonna eat breakfast and then you're gonna do your math work. Then you get to have a break after your math work is done. And then you're gonna start your reading work. So just kind of knowing what's next is the biggest part in that routine piece. Next point. So visuals can be really helpful for kids who struggle with routines. So younger kids, especially who can't read, they're not going to respond to a schedule that you have written out on the fridge because they can't read it. But even older kids who can read will respond well to the visuals. So having a visual schedule put up, and I've seen parents do this, and even teachers with individual kids who need it, laminate that piece of paper with the visuals for the routine, and that way your child can check off things as they've done them throughout the day and they can see what's next. So, you know, for example, like a picture of a kid getting out of the bed for, okay, you got up, and then a picture of a toothbrush or brushing your teeth, and then a picture of like a computer for Zoom class or whatever. And then make it so that your child can check it off if that's something that they like to do. Next, use a timer. So transitions can be really hard for kids. And if you have a kid who struggles with transitions, you know like how difficult that can be, especially with online learning, because they're at home and they maybe get sidetracked with something and then it's time to start school again and they really struggle with that transition with getting back on task. So using a timer can be a great way to stick with that routine and to help your child who struggles with those transitions. So you don't even have to use your phone timer. Like if you don't want to have to keep that on your phone, like you could even just use an egg timer and say, you know, okay, so you're gonna need to work on this for this many minutes and then we'll take a break. And so you set the timer and it goes off. Or like timers, you could set a bunch of timers on your phone for like when the classes start if your child is on a more strict virtual learning schedule. Next point, have some fun, you guys. Put some fun stuff in the routine. So another thing that kids probably don't like about the routines that we've been implementing at home for at-home learning is that there's nothing fun in there. So when they go to school, they have things to look forward to. There is specials. Maybe they look forward to some specials more than others. There's lunch and there's recess. Middle schoolers, not so much. Like there's probably just lunch and maybe a couple of classes that they really enjoy. But then there's the passing periods. So incorporate some fun stuff into your routine and put that in that visual schedule. So like do those things every day so that your child knows to look forward to them. Whether it's a break, whether it's recess where you guys go outside or play board games or whatever, incorporating some physical movement into your routine is a really great idea because it helps brains focus and it helps kids be able to kind of buckle down and do those things we need them to do. And then just make sure your child has a few things that they look forward to throughout their day. Like I know that as an adult, we do this for ourselves when we're trying to do things that we don't want to do. So do that for your child as well. And hopefully it will be fun for you or whoever's implementing this routine. Let me know what you think about routines. What routines have worked for you as schooling has started to look different for your child? I want to know what's working, and I'm sure everybody else does too. If you feel like your child needs some extra help after being virtual for a whole year, we would love to help here at Hoffman Tutoring Group. I'm going to put a link down below that you can schedule a consult call with me. There is no hard sell or anything like that. I love to get on on consult calls and talk to you about what's going on with your child, give you some resources, free resources that I know of in the industry that you can use to help your child at home, and then also talk about how one of our tutors might be able to help your child. I know that this has been hard for everyone, and I know that even though things are going back to normal, it's not going back to normal because we're dealing with a lot of transition issues with kids. So if I can help you in any way, click that link, schedule a consult call with me, or PM at me on these social media channels. So on Facebook, on Instagram. If you're not following us on both, make sure you do, because you're missing out on half of our content if you're not following us on both of those platforms. And next Friday, I will be back here talking about more tips to help your child get the learning and education that they deserve. Have a great weekend.